Yeah, I started seeing someone. She's great. She says I'm starting to show signs of early dementia. The Solanum tuberosum, the most versatile plant of the Solanaceae. Did I impress you with those big words? Probably not. But maybe I can impress you with this. Crispy roasted potatoes? Well, they're actually boiled, then tossed, then roasted. Boiled, tossed, roasted, crispy potatoes. This is much more of a technique video than an actual recipe because for the flavors, aromatics, you kind of do whatever you want. The main idea is boiling the potatoes in baking soda. In doing so, helps break down the potatoes so when we toss them, they start to break up a bit, create a starchy slurry, which then when we go to roast them, they have all this extra surface area and mush that gets crispy. 4 boiled, tossed, roasted, crispy potatoes. And so to start off, of course you're gonna need some potatoes. Now I got here some baby yellow potatoes. I got a thing for baby potatoes, like how they taste, and more importantly, they were on sale. That's my thing, on sale. You could really use any potato you want. Just know that the starchier they are, the more crispier they'll probably end up being. So that means for a maximum crisp, you want to use some russet potatoes. And on the other end of that spectrum, if you're using red potatoes, you'll get more of a waxy flavor and texture and less crispy. But at the end of the day, they're just potatoes. All right, so I got a large pot of water here. Got about 2 liters of water. So I'm gonna start with a tablespoon of kosher salt. Then we got half a teaspoon of baking soda. So the baking soda is very key here. By boiling our potatoes in alkaline water, it helps break the pectin, the skin of the potato, making it softer, which so when we go to toss it, it allows for a starchy slurry, no slurs here, on the outside, because that's what we want for our maximum crispiness. It's all very important in this whole process. So for potatoes, I've already washed these, but we're gonna have to cut these down. So this is about 2 pounds, and how big do I want these pieces? Well, that's up to me. Maybe that's too big. Basically, cut them to whatever size you want. Go thirds. And on the other side, the smaller you cut them, the quicker they'll cook. So speaking of cook, we are going to bring this to a boil. How long should we boil these for? Well, until they register about 200 degrees internal temp. I can't give you a time. I'm sorry. But we'll bring this over the stove just to get it to the boil, and that's kind of it. Let's see where we're at. They're done, 200 degrees. So we'll just drain this. We'll toss this back in, put our heat back on just to evaporate any leftover moisture we have. We go for a few seconds or two, not long. As you can see, they're starting to mush up, which is exactly what we want. And that's it. Alright, so now that our potatoes are done, we're going to need to transfer this all into a large mixing bowl like this. Toss everything in. If you can see, we see this starchy slurry that's starting to happen already. So just by handling our potatoes, transferring them from the pot to here, they're already breaking up. This is the key to getting our crispy roasted potato. So from here, we're gonna need to add some oil, some spices to give it some flavor. You can basically add kind of whatever you want to however you want to make it. But for starters, we're gonna need about 1/4 cup of oil of some sort. I'll be using olive oil here. Go by feel. If you feel it's too much oil, too little oil, add as much or as little as you like. Now, depending on what kind of oil you use, will change the flavor of your potatoes, obviously. If you're using vegetable or canola oil, that'll give it more of a neutral flavor. Or you could use bacon grease for more of a bacony flavor, whatever you want. Now I'm gonna crush 2 cloves of garlic. Try about half a teaspoon of rosemary, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, and we'll do about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And then let's toss it. You can kind of see, the more that we toss it, the more of the starchy slurry we get around the outside. The more you agitate, the better. Look at that. That's some good slurry. Now it's gonna be time to roast them. We're gonna wanna preheat our oven to around 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we're gonna need to transfer all these into a tray of some sort. This one does not look pretty for the cameras, but she is all reliable. Spray this down, get our potatoes in nice and evenly. So what's gonna happen is in the oven, this pan is sort of gonna act like a frying pan in a way, where the heat can get directly onto our potatoes, kind of help with our browning and helping with our crispiness. All right, so we're gonna roast this or bake. They're pretty much the same thing. 450 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. And then after 20 minutes, we're gonna flip them, move them, agitate them around, and then go for another 20 minutes up to 40, depending on how dark you want to your potatoes. Obviously, don't let them go too far because while they will be crispy, they might also be overdone and bitter. Alright, so it's been about 20 minutes. Let's give this a check. See, it's sizzling real good. That's a good sign. So let's flip these over. Oh yeah, they're starting to, some of the, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. Beauty. Let's try to get these all moving around. So we're going to continue to roast these for another 20 minutes or more. You might want to go in and toss these every 10 minutes or so. I mean, realistically, these are done. Depends on how crispy you want them. So I'm going to put these in for another 20 minutes and then I'll take a look. Ooh, yeah. All right. Well, you could hear how crispy they are already. I'm excited. Yeah. Look at that. All right. So these look pretty good to me. We are going to need to taste these and test for our saltiness. Always test. Hot. That's hot. Needs a little bit of salt. Alright, let's get this into a bowl of some sorts. You know what, let's top this with some Parmigiano Reggiano just because it looks good for the thumbnail. Some cilantro for some green, because that's the secret to making things look pretty. Green and some cheese. Alright, so let's see how this is. Now I'm not going to stand here and pretend I didn't just eat one, but I will stand here and eat another one. Just look at that. And here's the overreaction for the camera. I don't think this is an overreaction. Man, super crispy on the outside, super fluffy on the inside. This makes for a great side dish. I'm cooking other stuff right now. We don't care about that. You know, with all the different ways you can prepare Solanum tuberosum, this has got to be up there. French fries might be number one. Let's be honest. But you should try this out. It's really simple to do. Just one extra step compared to your regular roasted potatoes, but with 10 times the value of what you get out of it. And who knows, you might even impress somebody with this. Yeah. Maybe someday.